think Kanye is a clone. I wholeheartedly believe what I'm about to say. I think there are clones, and I'm going to tell you why. Remember, he was really talking a lot. The cabal didn't like that, you know? The Illuminati, the cabal, they did not like how much he was saying. He was calling a lot of people out, and he said, if I go away and I come back and I look different, that is not me.
If I ever went anywhere, we know why.
You never even heard in your brain. They said on the news, Jamie Foxx has a mystery illness.
I was on a flight this morning and then I got off and saw everybody tagging me in this video. Everyone keeps tagging me saying that I'm his clone. I'm not his clone. I'm in an airport in New York.
What if the star millions still cheer for is only wearing the memory of the icon you thought you knew? And what if, somewhere behind the carefully curated image, Hollywood learned how to swap the face but keep the brand, trusting the audience would never dare look twice? That is the unsettling current Katt Williams stepped into, and according to whispers online, it is exactly why his name keeps surfacing whenever the industry's hidden undercurrents start bubbling in the public view. People are saying he is not just another loud voice chasing attention, because long before the internet turned every rumor into a trending spectacle.
I think Kanye is a clone. I wholeheartedly believe what I'm about to say. I think there are clones, and I'm going to tell you why. Remember, he was really talking a lot. The cabal didn't like that, you know? The Illuminati, the cabal, they did not like how much he was saying. He was calling a lot of people out, and he said, if I go away and I come back and I look different, that is not me.
If I ever went anywhere, we know why.
What the happened? He was
No,
gone.
he did that because he wanted to gain weight. I would do that too. I'm going to do that next summer.
Look at him. Compare old photos of him. It's not the same person. It's not. Don't cancel me, Hollywood.
How do you think that these people would hide that, Kristen? If somebody tried to clone you, I would scream it from the top of the mountains like that's not Kristen.
You literally will get killed.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I believe this with every ounce in my body.
You think that you could make one of the biggest pop stars in the world just disappear and nobody would come forward?
The people who are going to come out and say something get killed.
There's weird happening, but some of it's too far.
He had already built a reputation as the kind of figure willing to point towards shadows behind the spotlight and ask the questions that refuse to die. Then came that now legendary Club Shay Shay conversation in early 2024, a moment that felt less like an interview and more like a curtain being pulled back inch by inch, revealing stories the official narrative always seems to skip over. Viewers who barely knew his stand-up suddenly found themselves glued to hours of clips, not because everything sounded proven, but because something just doesn't add up when one person keeps hinting at patterns others seem desperate to laugh away. He named names, hinted at contracts, ego, image making, and the layers beneath the glittering surface of success, all with the kind of quiet observation only someone who had seen it all could make. And when later headlines pushed certain celebrity circles into harsher public scrutiny, many online went back and replayed his words with fresh eyes, asking why now, why him, and why did some of those old warnings suddenly feel less like performance and more like a silhouette watching from the shadows of fame.
There wasn't a freak off, but it was one of the guys who does the freak off with her there, and they were all sitting around watching and drinking while this guy was having with another worker or whatever like that, and while all them just watching him have and stuff. I guess it's some rich people industry that they do, but they were just sitting around watching this dude have a live porn section right there in front of them. You know what I'm saying? So she started talking about that incident in court, and that's how Kanye West's name came up, and which they didn't say his name, but they said his name, because it was an objection done. You know how they do objection rule, all this other stuff like that. So they said it was a rapper who married. They gave a description of it, and it pointed straight to Kanye. And then it so happened the next day he goes up in the courtroom with Diddy and them son. That's just crazy, bro. It seemed like that to me, if Kanye West is paying workers to have in front of him and his friends, Ain't that trafficking? But it was done in Vegas. I think it may be legal in Vegas though. I think that's legal in Vegas. Don't quote me on it, bro. But Kanye West, he would be facing trafficking charges if it was anywhere else. But in Vegas, I don't think it's, I think it's legal in Vegas, bro. So he may not have an issue, he may not have a problem. But does he have a license to do it? That's another thing.
That is where the clone theory enters like a cold draft through a locked room. Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, Kanye West, not presented here as fact, not even close, but as the kind of theory people are saying refuses to fade because the more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence to those already suspicious of Hollywood's polished mask. But is it really just a coincidence, or are viewers projecting meaning on the fame itself, seeing every altered look, every strange interview, every unexpected personality shift as evidence of something bigger? Imagine this, an industry so powerful it can reinvent a person in plain sight, then teach the public to mock anyone who notices. That is the tension gripping this story. If Katt Williams were just some anonymous stranger shouting on the sidewalk, the headlines would have buried him in a day. But he is not. He is a veteran voice with the weight of years in the spotlight behind those knowing eyes, and that alone keeps pulling people back toward one uncomfortable possibility. Maybe what they don't want you to know is not whether every theory is true, but why so many viewers feel the public was never meant to question the performance in the first place. That context changes everything, because what happened next didn't unfold in some quiet corner of the internet. It exploded under bright stage lights, right in front of a crowd that didn't quite know whether to laugh or lean in closer.
With the energy that he did with us.
Okay.
You're not going to hear from Steve. Because I remember when Katt first got mad with Steve, it was when they were doing this New Year's Eve show
in Detroit.
In Detroit.
Yes.
So I was on the Foxhole then,
Right.
and our goal was to egg Steve on.
Right.
Steve, what you gonna do about Katt? Oh, what you gonna do? He's like, I'm just gonna do my comedy. We're like, don't you have something to say? And he said one of the coldest lines I've ever heard. He goes, "Have you ever seen the moon bark at the dog?"
I was like, have you ever seen the moon bark at the dog?
Yeah, so at that point in his career, he was the moon. Katt was the dog.
Did Katt Williams ever know that he said that?
Sure, if he listens to Foxhole Radio, maybe.
Right.
But that was one of the lines he said, because he was like, I don't want to make this a competition between me and you. Our goal is to entertain these people. It shouldn't be a competition.
So with that being said, as we sit here today right now, and you've had an opportunity to reflect on what you know has been said by Monique, by Katt Williams, knowing the feelings that you have right now in terms of just the state of affairs, do you see this getting addressed directly with the Katt Williams? Do you feel there's anybody that can talk to Katt Williams? Do you feel that there's anybody that can talk to Monique, that can rein them in, that can have a conversation with them about calming down and not really highlighting what they perceive to be the transgressions of other people within Black comedy?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to be another comedian or somebody from back home, or one of their parents, or a basketball coach, or somebody in the church. I'm not sure if there's somebody that can actually talk them out of whatever their anger is right now. I don't think it's going to be immediate. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if, especially right now when I watch Monique, like she's not happy, right? I did see something come out of it. Actually, she's on tour with Katt. So maybe her feeling that love again that she's had for years that kind of went away will make her start to feel a certain way, make her feel a little different.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TGJ, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
Katt Williams, with that unmistakable timing, declared his admiration for Jamie Foxx, only to pivot into something that instantly felt like it belonged to the realm of whispers rather than punchlines. According to Whispers Online, he pointed out subtle differences, a face that seemed unfamiliar, details that longtime fans couldn't recall ever seeing. And suddenly, something just doesn't add up began echoing across social media. People are saying the mention of freckles, of all things, became the spark, because the more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence to those already questioning what they're seeing. And then came the added layers, references to missing details, hints about recent events, and that signature disclaimer delivered with a grin, as if to say everything and nothing at the same time. Behind the carefully curated image, was this just comedy or something designed to make you question what they don't want you to know? But if that moment planted a seed, what happened next poured fuel on a fire that was already spreading fast. Imagine this, Jim Carrey stepping onto the stage at the Caesar Awards in Paris, February 2026, smiling, waving, accepting an honor, and within hours, the internet begins dissecting every frame like a coded message. Reddit users have been digging into this for years, and suddenly they have fresh footage to analyze. People are saying his features look slightly different, that his expressions carried a different energy, that even the smallest gestures felt unfamiliar. Side-by-side comparisons flooded timelines, with viewers asking the questions that refuse to die. But is it really just a coincidence, or is there something deeper hiding in plain sight? Then came an unexpected twist that only deepened the intrigue. Alexis Stone, known for hyper-realistic transformations, posted an image that blurred the line between performance and possibility, hinting, at least in the eyes of some, that what the cameras captured might not be so straightforward.
I don't want to name no names. I'm just saying. Jamie Foxx is a powerful motherfucker. Do you hear me? That nigga's... That say some... You never even heard in your brain. They said on the news, Jamie Foxx has a mystery illness. What the is a mystery illness, bitch? Look at all the people. Cat don't get cancer.
Merci à ma merveilleuse famille. À ma fille Jane et à mon petit-fils Jackson. Je vous aime maintenant et pour toujours.
Even Megan Fox chimed in, echoing the confusion many were already feeling, adding to the sense that the silence between the headlines speaks louder than any statement. Of course, official voices quickly stepped in to calm the storm, insisting everything was exactly as it seemed. But by then, the narrative had already split in two. The polished explanation on one side, and on the other, shadows behind the spotlight where theories thrive. And right there, threading through it all, were Katt Williams' earlier words, circulating again, gaining new life.
He actually had a grill in his on his bottom, and he.
Yeah.
A billion.
Who else has grills? Kanye. The Adidas, the grill. You're starting to look like you miss him a little bit. Who's God missing? Ooh, I swear to God, everybody that serves and worships that fool is truly a child of a lesser God. You remember there was a movie back in the 80s, about the deaf people, children of a lesser God. Everybody would have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to follow that around and even bother trying to take that interview seriously and follow any of the that they said in any way. I've never seen, actually, that's not true. That's not true at all. I have seen an interview where 35 minutes go by and people virtually say absolutely nothing.
Oh well,
Brilliant. Give them that.
We're gonna put.
This older man is talking to this young man, and look at the generations and the mixing,
and he's sitting there spitting quotes from other motivational speakers and pawning them off as his own. Don't miss that. It happened. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. that's in the Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I would know. I'm a landmark graduate. Like, he's a plagiarist, even in his interviews. Like, he's sitting there. And the thing is when you've heard me give a quote from someone else, haven't you heard me dub the person who said it? Like, he's that cocky. Or maybe he's just, he's got good intel and knows that the audience that's watching this is too stupid.
Because why now, people wondered, and why do these patterns keep resurfacing no matter how often they're dismissed? The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence. Or maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the public was never meant to question. If there's one name that seems to echo through every corner of these theories, it's Kanye West, a figure whose story feels almost designed for the kind of speculation people are saying never truly fades. What started as a tongue-in-cheek headline years ago slowly transformed into something far more persistent, as if the joke itself tapped into a deeper curiosity the public wasn't supposed to follow. According to whispers online, the conversation intensified when fans began noticing shifts, subtle at first, then impossible to ignore for those already paying attention. The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence, they argue, pointing to moments where his tone, presence, even his creative energy seemed to evolve in ways that sparked the questions that refused to die. And then came statements, cryptic, layered, open to interpretation, that only added to the mystery, making some wonder, was he hinting at something, or simply reflecting the chaos of fame itself? Figures like Kristen Cavallari echoed sentiments that had already been circulating quietly, suggesting that when someone speaks too boldly, the system responds in ways the public rarely sees. But is it really just a coincidence, or does that idea reveal more about how audiences interpret power than about any hidden machinery behind it? Even Kanye himself, through fleeting lyrics and offhand remarks, seemed to blur the line between metaphor and message, fueling a narrative that Reddit users have been digging into for years, dissecting every word as if it might reveal what they don't want you to know. And hovering around it all is Katt Williams, notably more measured when the topic turns to Kanye, offering neither full support nor outright dismissal, a silence that behind the carefully curated image of his usual boldness feels almost louder than anything he could have said.
So, as you can clearly tell, I'm here to tell you that this version of Jim is Jim. It is Jim Carrey, right? And I'm going to be breaking it down to his face, his eye colour, left and right-handed, his voice, his actions, and also other people have been claiming to be him, who actually went to these Caesar Awards. So, he went to Caesar Awards in Paris. And this is the viral, the clip that's absolutely going viral, is breaking the internet. And I'm telling you, when I say breaking the internet, it's all over the shop, mate. Who the hell is that guy? Fans convinced something is seriously off with viral Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey interview at French Film Awards, shock fans, impersonator. Bizarre theory emerges as Jim makes rare appearance. You know, it's all over the shop. And so many people are making videos about it. Saying that he's been cloned or it's his double or something like that. I don't know. Now, I know that there's going to be a large amount of people that jump on this, whether they believe it or not. They just go, okay, this is getting traction. This is going to go viral. I need to make a video about this, okay? I'm here to tell you, I'm putting it to bed, okay? I'm putting it to bed.
Black prediction. Oh, loved it. Loved it. It's so beautiful. And having Michelle, Camille Coton was also amazing. It was just a brilliant evening, really brilliant evening. Oh my gosh. Mange Moliverne was off the hook. I mean, I can't believe he committed to doing all that.
That's not Jim Carrey. That is not Jim Carrey. It's not him. It is so blaringly obvious. I, like everyone, has seen the Selena Gomez theory. I'd heard about cloning, I'd heard about all that stuff, and was always like, that's not Jim Carrey. As my favorite actor and comedian of all time, I know that man. I have seen all of his interviews, him in all of his roles, I know his mannerisms. That is not him. That's not him. Look at his mannerisms in that video. Look at his face. His face is different. The same man who said awards are meaningless, that those people are evil, that all of it's meaningless. I don't know where Jim Carrey is. I'm going to be praying for him for his safety, because that man, that is not Jim Carrey.
What the f is this? So this is supposed to be Jim Carrey? Look at his eye color compared to the imposter.
Also amazing.
So everybody thinks this is a fake
just a
Jim
brilliant
Carrey.
evening, you know? Really brilliant. Oh my gosh.
They're
Walter
doing
Mulligan
this?
was off the hook. I mean, I can't believe he committed to doing all that. I was really, is this about someone else? My favorite funny face is the one I'm wearing right now.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jim.
What the? Dude, there's no way, right?
I
Like,
love
what is
Aspen
this?
Gold.
I mean, this looks like bullshit, honestly. Like, trying to make Jim Carrey one of the worst psyops in the world.
But beneath the surface of all these theories lies something far more unsettling and far more grounded. What if this isn't about literal replacements at all, but about transformation under pressure? Williams has hinted in conversations like those on the Joe Rogan Experience with Joe Rogan that the entertainment machine operates on understanding reactions, shaping perception, and guiding narratives in ways most viewers never question. Something just doesn't add up when personalities shift overnight, when long absences are followed by entirely new versions of familiar figures, and when the silence between the headlines speaks louder than any explanation offered. People are saying this is less about science fiction and more about control, the ability to reshape an image, redirect the voice, and present it back to the world as if nothing ever changed. And that's where the theory becomes harder to dismiss outright, not because it's proven, but because it taps into a deeper suspicion about the layers beneath the glittering surface of success. From Britney Spears to Kanye, the pattern that keeps resurfacing no matter how hard they try to bury it continues to pull attention back in.
Heather Shaw, right? She's basically the female version of Jim Carrey. People are saying it's Heather Shaw. It's all out. Proof's out there, guys. It's Heather Shaw. Well, listen to this.
I was on a flight this morning and then I got off and saw everybody tagging me in this video. Everyone keeps tagging me saying that I'm his clone. I'm not his clone. I'm in an airport in New York. If I was his clone, I'd be in a mansion somewhere. And they keep saying that he's been replaced. Replaced with what? It's just face work. Has nobody seen Real Housewives of anything? The man has just had some fillers. I think he looks great for 60-something.
67?
He looks fine. He looks like a normal aging guy that also got some Botox and fillers. He's not been replaced, guys. And I'm still here. A lesbian who looks like a man. Vintage Jim Carrey face. I can at least say that I now have vintage Jim Carrey. The clone theories are crazy. I'm not a clone. If I was a clone of Jim Carrey, could I do this? No, but there are people out there who really think that I was made in a lab. And also now there's people...
So, yeah, so she's not him either, okay? So that's it.
Williams positions himself as someone who stepped just far enough outside that system to speak freely, claiming he never allowed himself to be fully absorbed into its structure. Whether that's truth or carefully crafted persona is another question entirely. But imagine this, an industry so vast, so influential, that it doesn't need to replace people physically. It only needs to reshape how they are seen. Why now are so many revisiting these ideas? Why are they hiding this, some ask, while others insist there's nothing to hide at all? And right there in that tension between belief and skepticism is where the real story lives, shadows behind the spotlight, where certainty fades and curiosity takes over.
What makes this story impossible to ignore isn't just what Katt Williams said, it's how the world responded when those words hit the timeline. The reaction split almost instantly, like two realities unfolding side by side. On one side, you have viewers who see it exactly as comedy, sharp, exaggerated, designed to provoke and entertain. Even Jamie Foxx himself stepped into the conversation during his Netflix special, playfully breaking it down in a way that felt both dismissive and oddly respectful. According to Whispers Online, his response carried that familiar tone, acknowledging that Katt might throw out a storm of chaos, but occasionally lands on something that makes you pause. People are saying that moment alone blurred the line between joke and insight, because behind the carefully curated image of two comedians trading jabs, something just doesn't add up.
They know him because he's Jamie Foxx, but he didn't know them. So I don't really know their real relationship or how close they was. I didn't meet Jamie Foxx and really have a conversation with him until I was at his house and I was with Scott Storch. So I don't know how close they was and how close they wasn't. But when I met and I had a conversation with Jamie Foxx, it was about, he was talking about people coming out there to California and show business, and the rappers and the singers and stuff like that, and they get connected with the gang members, and the gang members have a whole different ideology. And he was telling us that people mess up when they get with the gang members because their ideology and what they want out of them is totally what they looking for, whether you use them for security or whatever. And then this time we was at his house and Scott Storch was doing some beats and doing some music for him. And I was playing pool. And the dude told me, he said, yo, I was playing Jamie Foxx and stuff. And he said, yo, let me just tell you something. If you beat him, especially on his table, and I wasn't no hell of a pool player. I was damn good. I was good, but I was no hell of a pool player. I'm sitting up there playing. The dude said, yo, man, if you beat him, you gonna have to beat him all night. Or he ain't gonna let you go home. I said, what do you mean he ain't gonna let me go home? He said, nah, man, he hate to lose. I'm letting you know that. And me and Scott had been out all day, so I scratched on the 8-ball, and he called that a win. So I said, good, all right, I scratched on the 8-ball. I did that shit on purpose so we could leave. But him and Diddy relationship, and I see what they saying about what happened, and I really want to hear the full story about what's going on with him and Diddy, and if he really said in this show that Diddy, poisoned him, or he's the reason why he got sick that night. I want to hear that for myself, but I know it's trending on the internet, but I don't know how true it is. I don't know their relationship as far as other than he was cool enough to get on the tour bus, fill up the girls and go to the back room and chill with Diddy, then come out, fill up the girls and leave. That's all I know.
And you said him and Diddy was being touchy with the females?
No, he was. Diddy already had some female in the back in the tour bus, and Jamie Foxx got on the bus like he owned it, like it was his. So I know he had a conversation with Puff before he got on the tour bus. You understand what I'm saying? I know he had a conversation because he wouldn't have got on the tour bus unless he had that conversation with him. He wouldn't be able to go to the back unless he had a conversation with him.
How you feel about the gay rumors surrounding Jamie Foxx?
What I think about the gay rumors is that's Hollywood, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get to the top. I've said it 1,000 times, man. The people that indulge and make that type of behavior common, like they don't have a problem with it. Putting on the dresses, you understand? Acting as if they a woman, taking those type of roles. When they show those people that they are capable of doing that, they're capable of doing anything. And that's how they get their rise into their fame in Hollywood.
Was it all just humor or a subtle nod to the questions that refuse to die? On the other side of the divide, the atmosphere feels entirely different, heavier, more curious, almost investigative. Social platforms lit up with voices insisting that the more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence, especially when certain statements seem to echo events that unfold later. Reddit users have been digging into this for years, connecting dots, revisiting old clips, and asking why now these conversations are gaining traction again. Some posts framed Williams not as an entertainer, but as a figure standing just outside the system, pointing back at it with a kind of quiet certainty. What they don't want you to know, these users suggest, isn't whether every claim is accurate, but why certain patterns feel so familiar once you start paying attention. But is it really just a coincidence, or is the internet simply doing what it does best, turning fragments into full narratives?
And then there's the deeper layer, the part that shifts this from internet drama into something far more unsettling. Imagine this, not literal clones in a hidden lab, but something more psychological, more subtle. The idea that fame itself can reshape a person so completely that they seem unrecognizable over time. When figures like Kanye West speak about being watched, or Jim Carrey reflects on the illusion of identity, it feeds into a narrative where transformation feels intentional, almost engineered. The public was never meant to question, some say, how quickly perception can be rewritten.
The moment he went on Club Shay Shay and did what he did, that's the Katt you expected.
That's the moment I've been waiting for 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
And I'm so grateful that I was there kicking in that door so he could just blow it down. There's an effort. I'm surprised people ain't catching on yet. I'm never loud when Kanye's loud. Gene Deal's never loud when I'm loud. But if we're running in tandem, somehow everything that we're saying, even though we don't speak, is always corroborating each other.
No. That's
I can't wait. I can't wait for everybody to find out what's really been going on in the background. It's just not yet.
Are we in the era of truth now?
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
everything that is about to happen this year is intentional, and it has been in the making for over 10 years now. I promise you this. Yet.
Oh.
And Ye has not had his aha moment yet. You can doubt us all. But the one thing you cannot deny, we are all Hebrew. We are all gifted. And we are all fearless.
How a new version of someone can be introduced without announcement, without explanation, just accepted as the next chapter. In a world now shaped by hyper-real visuals, AI-generated faces, and digital personas that blur the line between real and artificial, that faint sense of something being off carries more weight than ever before. What used to be dismissed as lighting, aging, or mood now lives in a gray area where shadows behind the spotlight feel harder to ignore. And that's the real reason these theories refuse to fade. The pattern that keeps resurfacing, no matter how hard they try to bury it, isn't necessarily about clones at all. It's about a growing feeling that reality itself has become flexible, that perception can be shaped, edited, and presented back to us as truth. Why are they hiding this, some wonder? Or maybe the better question is, are we just now noticing what was always there? And maybe that's the real brilliance of Katt Williams. He doesn't just tell jokes, he operates in that razor-thin space where humor brushes up against discomfort, where laughter and suspicion exist at the same time. He knows exactly how to drop a statement, then soften it with an allegedly, giving the audience an escape hatch while still planting the seed. According to whispers online, that's not accidental, it's strategic. Because behind the carefully curated image of a stand-up routine, there's a rhythm designed to make you question what they don't want you to know, without ever forcing you to fully commit. People are saying that's why his words linger longer than most, because something just doesn't add up when a joke keeps echoing long after the punchline fades. And that's where everything converges. Jim Carrey appears at the Caesar Awards and sparks a digital storm. Jamie Foxx returns to the public eye and becomes the center of speculation he never asked for. Kanye West evolves in ways that keep audiences debating year after year. On paper, each moment has a straightforward explanation, but the more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence to those already watching closely, tracing patterns, revisiting clips, asking the questions that refuse to die. Why now do these moments feel connected? Why are they hiding this, some wonder, while others insist there's nothing there at all? Official statements have tried to steady the narrative, calmly reinforcing what the public is supposed to accept. No replacements, no hidden swaps, nothing beyond what's visible. But the silence between the headlines speaks louder than any statement, and that's where the intrigue refuses to fade. Because in 2026, with hyper-real technology, digital illusions, and an internet that moves faster than truth itself, the line between reality and performance has never been thinner. Imagine this, a world where perception can be reshaped overnight, where familiarity can be subtly rewritten, and where the public was never meant to question how easily identity can evolve right in front of them. So now it comes back to you. When a voice from inside the system hints at something bigger, something operating in the shadows behind the spotlight, at what point does it stop sounding like entertainment and start sounding like a signal? But is it really just a coincidence, or are we witnessing the kind of pattern that keeps resurfacing, no matter how hard they try to bury it? The questions are still here, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Comment below with what you think is really going on. Leave a like if this gave you chills, and subscribe plus turn on notifications for more hidden Hollywood secrets.